Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again!
All right, good morning. Welcome into the Rise of Grind Morning Show. I am having some camera issues. I got a new camera over the weekend, and it keeps dying for some reason. I haven't figured out what's going on. But anyway, good morning. It's Monday, man. We're going to get after it today. We're going to talk about what happened last week, Friday. Obviously, I took about 4 days off. Needed it. It was much needed. But we need to puke on it this morning. We'll get it out. We'll get it over with. We're going to get into Frank Ragnow as well. And then we're going to get into Dan Campbell's press conference from yesterday. We're going to bring in some of the guys, Brian Branch, Jared Goff, and others, and have a conversation, man. That's what today's all about. But I know I'm going to have to be switching cameras. So before I lose my camera, let me get Eric in here. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning.
And as soon as I get a movie going, as soon as we get video day going, or if my camera dies, I'll just have to switch, and then I'll switch cameras, and then we'll be off and running. Let's just see how long we can go.
Yeah,
Man, last Thursday, a wonderful day. First of all, able to spend the evening and the whole entire day with my son who flew up. My other son couldn't make it, Christian, but Jade was able to fly up and spend the day with me for Thanksgiving. So that more than anything, win, lose, or draw, that was more important to me than anything. And then obviously, spend some time with my dad was obviously a good time as well. So the day couldn't be totally bad, but it got bad pretty quickly. It was a fun game. I mean, we were going back and forth for a little bit there, and it seemed like we always had a chance. And I think we had a chance right until, the last few minutes of the game. But I have to throw Dan Campbell under the bus in this game a little bit. And, man, I went through 10 things on Friday that went wrong, Eric, but nobody heard from you. So you tell me, what are your things that I guess fell apart?
well, I'm going to start here.
And there it goes. You're on your own. Here you go.
What an amazing day turned into one of the worst days ever. So at the very last minute, right before the game, I got a Facebook message, and it was from a lady named Holly, excuse me. And Holly said that her husband could not make it to do the halftime show. And I had made a post that I had missed out on the email for the halftime show. So I ended up getting invited to be part of the halftime show. So I went down a day early, and I got to be out on the 50-yard line with Jack White, and Eminem comes out on the stage. None of us had a clue. We had a clue, but we didn't. We knew that Eminem was the production manager for the show, and they gave us all these EM shirts, so we knew it was Eminem for his production company. But during the rehearsals and everything, there was no mention of Eminem. He never came out. Just the band came out, and we had to learn what to do, where to go, where to stand, everything else. And so halftime comes, and the game's not too bad. We're 3 points out. I'm thinking the game is okay. And then go do the halftime show. It's amazing. It was one of my highlights of ever being a Detroit Lions fan. It was so much fun to get to be out there for so long. I filmed the whole thing with my new glasses and just had a blast. And it was such a high and such a fun thing. We walked back up through the crowd, and everyone's giving us high fives, and everybody filmed it. And, it was such a big surprise when Eminem came out. So that part of the game was just one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. Literally, it was so much fun. Just to be out there. And now, there's so many people comparing this to like when Prince came out at the Super Bowl halftime show. That's how good that halftime show was.
I don't know about all that.
It was pretty amazing to be out there for it. And a lot of people said it deserved to be a Super Bowl halftime show, not just a Thanksgiving Day halftime show. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So to have such a high and then come back and sit in my seat and watch the debacle that happened in the second half just killed me. So I wrote down a bunch of things. I started with the defense, and then I moved to the offense, and then I moved to the coaching. And here's some of the stuff I had written down. No pressure from the front four on defense. Hutch goes silent. Hutch was held a few times. Okay. And the corners and the safeties, they just could not contain the Packers receivers in man coverage over and over and over again. Love had all the time in the world to sit back and slice up the defense. Every long bomb, they connected on basically every single one. The one thing I wanted the Lions to do and could not do. On offense, the O-line couldn't protect, couldn't run block on a consistent basis. And Gibbs up the middle on every single first down was just absolutely infuriating to me. Losing Amon-Ra in the first quarter was a deal breaker. That just set the mood for the entire day, and we were still in the game. Now, we went to David Montgomery for a 7-play scoring drive, and then Monty disappeared. Monty was getting it done there for a while, and I don't know why they went away from him. I understand that Gibbs is the home run hitter, but when Monty's the hot hand, why not stick with him? And this is probably my biggest gripe of the entire game. I was one of 67,000 people screaming my head off and booing about this portion of the game. Why go for it on fourth down twice? Punt from midfield. You're only down 3 and you pin them deep on the 1. But instead, you give them the ball out near the 50. 2 plays later, they get 7 points. And then the second one, you take the easy points and be down by 1 score instead of down by 2 scores with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You know, and then why is our run game so anemic against the Packers this year? In multiple games, we just can't get Gibbs or Monty loose. No toss sweeps, no end arounds, no nothing to get them out in space with the ball running it. And then last but not least, I guess I got a few more things, but once again, the refs screw up 2 major calls. All right. On the touchdown, his foot was out. The ball was bobbled during the first foot. I don't care what anybody says. And then by the time he got his second and third foot down, the third foot was out of bounds. That should not have been a touchdown. New York screwed that up. The second screw up was the timeout given to LaFleur on fourth down when the Packers jumped. They jumped and then they gave him the timeout. All right, the good. So in my bold calls on Friday, I said that Isaac Tesla was going to get 35 yards, 3 catches, and a touchdown. So I was pretty darn close. Out of all my bold takes, he had 3 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. And I was pretty spot on for once for one of my bold calls, but only one. I now am forced to wonder if Dan Campbell did not learn his lesson from the NFC Championship game. These fourth downs seem to be reckless, and they've cost us multiple games this season. I am convinced better fourth down decisions in both the Eagles and Packers games would have led to victories in both games. Is being head coach and OC at the same time just too much for Dan to handle? And then I had the Frank Ragnow debacle giving us hope just to take it away. And the Kirby Joseph injury is not going away. We needed him out there for that. So that's basically my thoughts on the game. Listen, if you go look at the statistics on this game, the box score, let me get it back up. The box score, the numbers are all basically identical. identical.
So let me comment a little bit on some of your things here. The no pressure with Hutch going silent. The people that are are pounding their chest about Davenport. It's his first game back.
You can't
expect anything out of any player in their first game back. I don't care who they are. I mean, Aiden didn't get a sack for what, 3 games it was, I think, to start the season. But the pressure, here's the misconception. This is what people are not realizing. Let me check my mic real quick.
Sounds good on this end.
Yeah, I forgot to check volume. Yeah, it's way down. All right, double check yours. I'm sure you already have yours up, but
yeah, mine's still at 80.
I don't know how. Mine was way down. So here's the misconception with the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dan Campbell had mentioned, and others have mentioned, there was literally 3 plays that the Packers maybe gave the Lions an opportunity to get a sack or to really bring significant pressure. And even though it appeared like Jordan Love had some time to throw, that was a little bit longer than I guess what we expected. He really got the ball out quick. And that was the name of the game, kind of what I expected going into the game, that he was going to get the ball out quick, and he did. And so when you sit back as a fan, you're like, oh my God, we can't even get to Jordan Love. We can't bring the pressure, but the Packers are bringing all this pressure. And I mean, they're slicing and dicing their way to Jared Goff all game, yada, 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 right? 2 totally different scenarios here. One, we have an offensive line that is bits and pieces. Literally, it's bits and pieces. Sewell's been injured since like week 3 with his foot injury that, I mean, it doesn't pop up on the injury report all the time, but, you know, he's been battling some things. Decker hasn't had a shoulder since before week 1, and then week 1 tore it up again. Of course, I got to sign in everything. Mahogany's gone, which, you know, maybe he's not the full answer there at left guard anyway, even when he was in, but he's better than what we have had.
Yeah.
Glasgow's been banged up, and he got thrown into a situation this year that, you know, maybe he didn't want to be center, and he's kind of thrown into it, right? I'm not going to poo-poo on Brad to say he didn't do enough when I'm willing to bet that he reached out and tried to find some, you know, availability. The problem is when Frank Ragnow retired, that handcuffed Brad Holmes. Now, a lot of people speculate, well, Brad had to have known. Brad had to have known earlier. At some point, you know, he could have done something. We don't really know that. And I want to say that when Brad Holmes addressed the media months ago about this whole situation, is that the answer was they really didn't know. And it kind of just came up, and they really didn't know if he was going to fully retire. Who knows what the truth is? But let's just split the baby and say that he knew going into the draft. Okay, didn't know at free agency, but knew going into the draft. What does that change? What does that change for us? You bring in a rookie center? Is that any better than Graham Glasgow? Probably not. Just be realistic. How many centers are that good in their first year? Unless you're plucking them, you know, early in the second round, and even then, it's still a crapshoot. So I'm gonna roll with that. I'm not gonna poo-poo on Brad. But when you look at the offensive line, it's in bits and pieces. So yeah, of course, the Packers are going to be able to bring some pressure. And Micah Parsons, I mean, he was not taken away. And that to me is a problem with Dan Campbell and Hank Fraley. because Dan Campbell is the offensive coordinator right now, and Hank Fraley is the offensive line coach and the run game coordinator too. You have to isolate Parsons. It is a must. You still need to worry about Edgerrin Cooper, but you have to isolate Parsons. And if you don't give him a second, a chip, if you don't give him a combo block, if you don't give him a double team, whatever it is, wherever he's lined up, because he's all over the field, you have to account for Parsons. Then the Lions didn't. But then I'm going to say this part. We were down 6 offensive starters in this game. Both of our tight ends, Brock Wright, Sam Laporta, gone. 2 of our better blockers that really help out big time picking up blitzes and extra pressure. So they're out. You're down Christian Mahogany. You're down Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's another big time blocker, picks up linebackers, keys in on certain defenders all the time. I think I already mentioned Mahogany. We already know what kind of an issue that is. And so it's not like the Lions have had the ability. Cleve Raymond also out, another blocker at times, makes some key blocks in the run game. It's not like the Lions had full strength here. So the fact that we were able to hang 31-24 and we beat them with half an offense, not less than half an offense, I'm good with that. I don't like the fact we lost. Of course, I want to win. But that tells me that we have more fight in the dog than what most teams do. Because when our back is up against the wall, we are still able to produce enough to beat a team, for better or worse, has played a pretty decent schedule. They're a pretty good team. They can also be a very bad team. They just weren't a bad team that day. After I thought about it all weekend, had some time to kind of decompress, the most important thing I think to take away from this is, I'm a lot. I'm not even gonna say I'm a little bit. I'm a lot worried about Aiden Hutchinson. I've been trying to tell you all this for 2 seasons now. And you all just want to clap back at me and jump on my back and tell me I'm a Hutch hater. There's the truth. Okay? There's the proof. There was only 3 opportunities, according to Dan Campbell, that the Lions could have brought an exorbitant amount of pressure in this game. Those 3 opportunities, Aiden has to win. I'm sorry. You get 60 cracks at it in a game. You can't win 3? Just 3. 2. You know what? Even 1. Just give me 1 good play. Doesn't even have to be a sack. It just needs to be getting to the quarterback or getting to the running back, not missing a tackle, doing something that helps the team win. Not going to blame a Davenport because he did affect plays almost immediately. It was the first or second offense for the Green Bay Packers, first or second possession, that he crashed that edge so hard, Jordan Love had to throw the ball away. When Jordan Love was already getting the ball out in 2.5 seconds, 2.6 seconds, he crashed the edge that hard. I was listening to somebody last night, and it happened to be on Paramount Plus. I was listening to the games, listening to the commentary while we were cleaning up the studio here, getting it ready to turn into a gym/studio. And JJ Watt came on. And he was talking about a team, I can't remember who, but he said, that the thing that I appreciate the most about this team is that the ends don't get too wide. They don't get too deep. They don't open rush lanes. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. I forget the team. I was going to try to bring it in and clip it and all that. I was exhausted yesterday. So what does that tell y'all? How many times have I said that? And you just heard it from one of the reigning champions of sacks in JJ Watt, not getting too wide, not getting too deep, don't open rush lanes. Who does that on almost every single damn play? Too wide, too deep, Aiden Hutchinson. Can't do it. Bull rush. Go straight at him. Close the angle down. Don't get too deep beyond the quarterback. At least do that. You're not opening a 50% opportunity for a running back or a quarterback to sneak through a lane. At least do that for us. Close off the edge. That can't be that difficult. Stop chasing sacks. Win the game. And Aiden's heard it. Aiden has heard it, and he addressed it in a video that we're going to bring in here in just a moment. I've said enough on this part of what I feel went wrong, but agree, disagree? What are your thoughts?
My biggest thing is this. Listen, total yards in this game for both teams. One team had 359 yards. The other team had 352 yards. That's 7 yards difference. One team had 234 yards passing. The other team had 233 yards passing. That's 1 yard difference. One team had 125 yards rushing. The other team had 119 yards rushing. That's 6 yards difference. For a grand total of 7 yards difference between these two teams. These teams were so evenly matched. The difference was 2 calls by the refs, but the biggest difference was 2 calls on 4th down.
Okay.
If we punt and we take the points, that's 10 points right there.
Yes and no. I tried to go through that in my head, and as we were walking back, Jade and I were talking about it, and we kind of got into a disagreement of, when the Lions could have taken points.
But you were missing Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's your 4th down clutch ball catcher, right?
Of course.
Kick the ball. It's okay to, on 4th down, punt from your own 50-yard line, and it's okay to take the points inside the 20.
I think you're exactly right with this too, but here's the thing. And someone in the chat just said this: had we punted the ball, the yards would have been more. Probably. Our defense, man, that's the one thing I haven't commented on yet this morning. I did on Friday was I think the Legion of Whom is playing better than our Legion of Doom. And it's going to take another game. I don't think that Kirby Joseph is the total answer, because there's plenty of games and plays where Kirby gets caught with his pants down and he's missing on big plays. Look, Aiden, from what I read all weekend, and there's some pretty staunch U of M fans that know Aiden pretty well, he needs to stand up. Maybe that fixes it. I know earlier in Aiden's time in Detroit, he did stand up on more plays. And maybe that helps him. Maybe that gives him better vision. My only question is, what does that do for his explosiveness? Is he more explosive in a 2-point stance versus a 3-point stance? 2-point being up, 3-point being down, or vice versa, right? Is his hand in the dirt make him more explosive off the snap? Or is it help him stay low, right? If that's what they're trying to do, is trying to keep him low so he can get up underneath the tackle. Because if you're standing up, you have to then drop to get low, and by then the tackle's already set and anchored, and it's really tough to get underneath them. So there's gives and takes to both of this, or both sides of that coin. But yeah, I think I would like to see Aiden up a little bit more. What I'd really like to see is Aiden not just crashing in or going wide all the time. I want to see him taking the angle, cutting off the angle, cutting off the corner. And then Calvin, I'd really like to see this. I'd love to see you back him up with a linebacker or a corner or a safety firing right behind him. Let Aiden play contain. Put in your speedster right behind him. That is how you get to the quarterback. If you can't win with your front four for whatever reason, you need to bring one extra guy. Just one. Not 3, not 2, just one. Aleem McNeil. Aleem McNeil is playing defensive end, and I hear people crying about Aleem McNeil. Oh my God, why is he at defensive end? He's not a defensive end. He didn't do anything. And there were some plays that were highlighted, on social media where they're showing Aleem McNeil not doing anything on the outside, on the right side of the defensive line. That was a contained look. It was a contained look at the one play that they were highlighting of Aleem. He was not trying to get to the quarterback. If he was trying to get to the quarterback, he would have taken a closer angle. He was kind of pitter-patting going wide. He was closing off that angle and making sure that the run game couldn't get to the outside, forcing everything through that lane where guess who was there? Brian Branch to fill that lane. So I love it when people that don't know football, that don't understand philosophy of football or you know what's going on in a scheme, comment, because it just gives me tons of ammo. Lee McNeil was not trying to get at the QB on that play. Now, other plays, of course he's trying to. But there's also a time and a place where you want to put, in my opinion, Calvin, and I didn't see it, Lee McNeil and either DJ Reader or Tyleek Williams on the right side with Tyleek in the middle and Aleem on the outside. And then you want to put AQM and Aiden on the left side or vice versa. And you want to run defensive ends as defensive tackles. It helps to put your speed power rushers on one side and defensive tackles on the other, given time, place, play, down and distance, depending on what it is. I don't think that we need to be lined up over the center all the time either. I'd rather shade and fill the A gaps and the B gaps, not get over center all the time. That's where Jack Campbell should be, is over center. You want that center to have to take one, or left or right. That way you've got a hole that is just opened, and then he has to leave a double block or a combo block or something to pick up Jack. These are things that I don't get why we're not doing it. And so if you want to blame Davenport or Lee McNeil, blame Kelvin Shepherd for not bringing the right type of defense in this, from my point of view. And I'm not a defensive coordinator by any means. That's just what I see. Based on the schemes that I see across the league, a lot of them use. So that's probably that's the worst of it for me. I'm worried about Aiden and the fact that he's not getting it done. He's just not. He hasn't been. Did the Lions overpay? Eric, did we overpay for Aiden already?
I don't know.
I mean, give us your honest take. What do you think?
It's not getting it done so far.
Now,
very disappointing so far.
To his credit, he's not making that money just yet, but he is making close to $20 million this year?
Yeah.
Something like that on his rookie deal, and he's been paid a pretty handsome bonus. And he's got the most guaranteed money out of any defensive end in the league. Are we going to give him the excuse that he's got a leg injury still that he's coming back from? You're 3/4 of the way through the season. You can't use that crutch anymore. That was in the beginning of the year. And I gave him at least half the season to get it right. I'm not seeing it. And I'm going to fall off of Aiden with this. It's the arm length to me that pisses me off the most. It's not his motor. It's not his intelligence. It's not his power. It's just he can't disengage off of blocks. And if you can't disengage off of blocks, it's getting too wide. If you can't disengage off of blocks because those tackles have longer arms, that makes it even that much harder for you to win. And so if I were to take a prototypical defensive end, it would not be anybody less than 6'4" with 33.5-inch arms, minimum, 270 pounds, minimum, that runs a sub 4.65, 4.6, 4.7, probably at the most. Would love it to see a little bit faster, but not all defensive ends are created equal. I mean, we've seen guys like Hassan Reddick do wild things in this league. I mean, Micah Parsons is not the biggest man in the world. He's not. He wins because he understands technique and hand fighting. He wins because he knows where to be, when to be there. How about some delays, Calvin? How about some delayed blitzes? Quit sending everybody all at once. Send a delay. But we need secondary to stick. So there's something else you talked about in here. Monty getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt the same way in the game. And all due respect, I'm not poo-pooing against you.
Yeah.
David Montgomery was 8 for 32, 4-yard average, 1 TD. I did get that call almost spot on where I said he was going to have 60 yards and a 2-yard punch. Well, it ended up being a 3-yard punch. pretty close on that call. Expected more of David in this game just because of where I expected this game to go down into the trenches, inside the red zone. Just didn't happen. And there was a couple of plays that he was absolutely electric. And he looked fast. There was two calls in a row. He just looked fast. And it reminded me of the overtime game where he just ran it down their throat is what it looked like to me. And then it disappeared.
Exactly.
It disappeared. He disappeared. Not only did he disappear out of the game plan, but he disappeared, meaning he wasn't getting it done. Neither of our guys were having that great of a day. You pointed out Jahmyr Gibbs running through the tackles all day.
First down every time.
I don't understand it. I really don't. We know that Jahmyr Gibbs outside is the answer. And when Micah Parsons is lined up over the A gap, he's not even on the outside, or he's lined up in between the A and the B. Why are you going inside? He's already coming in. Go outside of the guy. But you didn't bring any protection with you. You didn't bring another blocker. You're asking these guys to beat a pretty damn good defensive front on their own without any extra blockers, with the blockers that we have that are already anemic. I blame it on scheme, man. I blame it on the coaches. It's more so the coaches than it is the players. I'll fall back on this. Remember how last week I kept saying something is just off?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this locker room feels off so much so that Craig Reynolds is gone.
Yeah.
Our vet.
I didn't even put that
is,
on my list.
Yeah, that is stuck around for a while. Even though he hasn't played a ton, he bounced to New England to go, re-up with Terrell Williams, the guy that obviously had a relationship in Detroit, for a year. But there's
they thought they could sneak him back on the practice squad is what they thought. They thought they could put him down for a week, put him on the practice squad, and everything would be fine. Then they could bring him back up.
Yep.
But no,
no, he wants to play and he wants to win.
Well, did they do that to make room for Frank Ragnow?
I hope not.
I'm guessing that was the move.
The move that I spoke to last week was Josh Paschal. That Josh Paschal wasn't coming back because they were bringing in Frank. Let me speak to Frank for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on. Craig Reynolds.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to make the roster this year. I thought that the Lions were going to do something a little bit different. Obviously, Jacob Sailors is here to stay. That is now our third running back. I don't care which way you slice the pie.
Yeah, because special teams.
Yeah, that dude is electric. He's perfect. He does a lot. He's an animal. He's got a mean streak about him. So I mean that part, we got a lot younger, and we got someone that's a lot quicker and has produced. So it's not a total loss, but Craig Reynolds, I feel, was part of this team. Okay, so Frank, what if I were to tell you guys this was all a sham from the beginning? What do you think I'm going with, Eric? Do you think that there's any validity to the fact that maybe the Lions are just bullshitting us from the beginning?
I don't know.
Here's why. How long has everyone been clamoring for Frank Ragnow and blaming Frank Ragnow for this season? You see it all over the place.
Oh, since game one.
Yep, everyone's been blaming Frank Ragnow for this season. So what a more perfect opportunity to clear his name and to say, you know what? Frank's coming back. Knowing damn well he's not coming back. You don't have a grade 3 tear and not know about it. That's not a little pinch in your butt, or on the backside of your thigh. That's not just a little pinch, man. That is, you can't frickin' walk. Grade 3 tear, hamstring. Come on, people.
It's tore off the bone.
Well, I don't know if it's tore off the bone, but it's torn in half. It's a full thickness tear is what it means. Whereas a grade 2 kind of goes about 3/4 of the way through, and a grade 1 is, maybe just a quarter of the way through. Grade 3 is all the way through. I don't know about torn off the bone, but the way I read it, it's and if you want to check out AI and See what AI tells us.
Yeah.
The thing that I heard, and I'm not going to name anybody, is that he wasn't coming back, but this is a way to clear his name, to get everybody all riled up and pumped up before Thursday. Clear his name, and then, failed physical, he's not coming back. Look, you didn't need to clear Frank's name with me. And the fans out there that are talking crap about Frank, then they're not a real fan. The dude gave his heart to this team, his body to this team. So much. I mean, he gave us a foot that can't be repaired. Sure, he wants to play. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he would love to go out there and fight with his guys. But there ain't no way that the Lions didn't take an opportunity with Frank. And I'm not saying that Frank would put himself up to this. This is just a rumor. That they would just clear his name knowing that he wasn't coming back. Maybe there's next year. I doubt it. Look, he'll be retired for a full season. Yeah, he'll be recovered in 6 to 10 months. Whatever it's going to be. I doubt it. He's done. You know, and I think that that's the other way that they put a cap on it with Frank, is to say, hey, look, he's got a grade 3 hamstring. He was already retired. He's going to have to recover until next spring at a minimum. At a minimum, probably after the draft. No, I'm sorry, into June. You know, after all the camps, rookie camps and OTAs. I don't see it. I think it's a lot to come back from.
No, there's a lot of fans online too that are holding out hope that, he didn't say anything about 2026. He's not playing next year. We are going to be drafting a center with our first round pick.
So, like John DeSage, I'm sorry, buddy, but he says, I don't know one person talking crap about Frank. And then his next message, but he did leave us out to dry. Well, that's talking crap, right?
Yeah.
Kinda, right? Isn't that talking crap? But it's that and more. It's that and more on social media where everyone's blaming Frank for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you just don't see enough of it, but I clearly see it. We see it in the chat. We see it everywhere. And it's just, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks because we have such a good team. I know I didn't expect to take this big of a back step. I didn't expect this offensive line to be this bad, but there's a ton of injury. And I know you can't make the excuse for everything, but the injuries, they do matter.
I don't think it's the team itself is that bad. I don't think the team has taken this big step back. I think coaching has taken a huge step back. I think losing all these coordinators and everything else finally caught up to us. You have to admit it, because, I mean, John Morton, he didn't work out. He's not the man. Dan Campbell had to take it back over. And when you put that plus everything else, it's just not adding up. We're in all these games. Look at the Lions still have one of the best offenses in the league, even with all these injuries. We're still towards the top in all these categories, but yet we're just not winning games.
I think it's a great point because, Eric, like I said earlier,
it's tough to admit. It sucks.
Like I said earlier, it's amazing to me. 31-24 against a good Packers team.
Yeah.
We are a car crash, right? We are playing these players and coaches and the play calling. It's like a car crash. Everything is mangled. And we're still putting up 24 points. Some teams can't even score 10.
Yeah.
And we're losing games by a touchdown or less, from most games.
Yeah, look what Philly did against the Packers. What did Philly put up against the Packers?
10 points? Yeah, 10 points. And we'll speak on the Philly Bears game here in just a moment, but man, the fact that we're this messed up, play calling's a disaster, offensive coordinator gets demoted, you've got multiple injuries across the offensive line, you're down 6 starters on the offense. The defense has been great, but then you've got 4 starters out in the secondary.
It was great. These last 3-4 games, Dave. Listen, since we came out of the bye, we've went loss, win, loss, win, loss. That's 3 out of 5 games we've lost.
And I'm not even that worried about it. And I'm not worried because we're not losing 2 in a row, and that can't start against the Cowboys. I don't even know how we're favored against the Cowboys right now, but we are
3.5.
So I'm less worried about going win-loss. I'd be more worried if we were losing 2 in a row. I'd be more worried if we were losing to bad teams. We have not lost to a bad team. We lost to a really good Minnesota defense. We got our asses kicked because we weren't prepared. We lost to Green Bay in week 1 because it was week 1 for everybody. They took advantage. They followed that up on Thanksgiving and showed us that they were for real, but we were half the team that we were in week 1. Literally half the team. Herbie Joseph being out's a problem. Right? It's been a problem. But that doesn't fix everything either. It doesn't fix everything. Couple more things. Take the points. Absolutely. I think you take the points. I was going to go through play-by-play. I'm going to ignore it. It's already after 9. The touchdown that wasn't.
Have a lot.
Yeah, the touchdown that wasn't is probably the thing that burns me up the most is the refs. I hate, I've said it many, many, many times. I hate using refs for a crutch. Yeah. But in this case, you can't tell me that catch was a catch, because had that been J-Mo or Amon-Ra or Tesla or anybody else, that's not a catch.
Exactly.
And it's not a catch for anybody else in the league. You go look at the CD Lamb catch right after that this weekend. That wasn't a catch, but it was a catch. You can't bobble the football. Period.
Did you see? Did you see the I think it was the Titans game yesterday? Did you see that kick that was not even close and they called it good?
I didn't watch any games yesterday. Not one.
So just if you get a chance today, go look at.
Did they reverse it?
No, the kick is not good. You can watch it from the end zone angle, and the refs called it good.
But did they reverse it?
No.
They have all those cameras, and they don't have a camera that shows that it wasn't good?
Yeah, and the ref's standing right under the pole, and it did not go inside, and he calls it good.
I don't know, man. This NFL rigged bullshit.
Dude, you want to talk about a tinfoil hat play? That was it. Like 3 feet outside the upright, and no way it was good. And I couldn't believe my eyes, and it actually stood as 3 points.
That's just crazy.
I mean, you see some close ones sometimes, but this was not even close.
All right, take a quick break.
Yeah.
I need some oxygen, man.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, let's get into Dan Campbell. We're gonna move past. We're gonna park the Packers where they belong, which is way up north in the cold. I hope every single one of them gets frostbite today.
I just want to say one last thing. What an embarrassing effing game. Every chance in the world to win it, and we crap the bed. Players played the way they needed to play to win the game. I've never seen, if you look at this box score, I have never seen a box score so close in my life. Like, everything is identical. They each had 60 plays.
Yeah, we've had a couple of games like that, but
the Packers had 6 yards per play. We had 5.9 yards per play. I'm telling you, this was absolutely dead nuts even of a game.
So the difference, you know, like Dan Campbell says time and time again, is just the ball bounces a certain way. You're 1 or 2 plays away from winning, and that's what it is. I'm not going to go deep off into this. The timeouts, you have to hold the timeout under the 2-minute warning. You knew that the Packers were going to go for it on 4th down, and that timeout probably wouldn't have saved you. Matter of fact, it wouldn't have. There wasn't enough time left. Actually, I'd have to go back and look. I'm pretty positive there wasn't enough time left. That one timeout would have given you maybe 10 seconds. Maybe. Had you held them and they had to punt. And you know what? 10 seconds is enough to score. It's enough to get 2 plays off. It's just, it wasn't enough for the Lions in this game. And the Lions are going to have to do something different against the Cowboys. They're going to have to figure it out because they're fire hot right now.
Yeah,
they're on fire.
Cowboys are destroying both teams that were in the Super Bowl last year, back-to-back weeks.
Oh, can't
Destroyed them.
Can't forget about the timeout. Video evidence, as you guys have seen over the weekend.
Oh yeah,
proved the fact that the false start happened, and then the timeout happened, and then the wink.
Yeah, did you see LaFleur's press conference afterward? He knew he got away with one. He knew it.
Yeah, I spoke about it.
He was all smug about it.
Yeah, I spoke about it on Friday, but you know what? That just shows you that dude has zero gumption and credibility. He's a piece of crap. Matt LaFleur's always been a piece of crap.
I hope we see him in the playoffs. I hope we go to Lambeau in the playoffs.
I don't want to go to Lambeau, but
I do. I want to go to Lambeau in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're asking for too much there.
And I want to send them home in week 1 and wild card weekend.
Well, of course, we're losing at home and away anyway. Maybe it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we're not strong at both places. Whether it's home or away, we have not been. We should be strong at home, but we haven't been. Let's get into Dan Campbell and in his press conference. I also want to get into Aiden Hutchinson, which is about a 5-minute video. We're going to do that real quick. I want to put Aiden to bed so we don't. I should have done it earlier. Should have brought it in earlier. But I want to put this part to bed so that we can move on.
I haven't got to watch any of this stuff yet.
No?
No, I've been too busy. My Black Friday through Cyber Monday stuff, man. Crazy. Sold lots of stuff this week.
All right, here we go. Aiden,
just give me a sense of what it's like this turnaround quickly. Obviously, you've got a good Dallas team coming in here and one that you know is making a push toward the playoffs as well.
Yeah, we have a great opportunity in front of us to bounce back, and we're all looking forward to Thursday. And I think these coaches are going to have us ready. We got to execute the game plan, go out there, play with a lot of energy, and I'm confident in our ability to bounce back, though.
They've scored a lot of points, second most in the league. What makes that offense so efficient, dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, they have a ton of playmakers, ton of good skill players. Dak's playing at a high level. So, yeah, we got to go out there, and we're going to have our hands full. But I think we have all the guys we need to succeed in this building, and everyone believes that. We just got to go out there and execute.
I know the pass rush is paramount every week, but especially this week against that team, that quarterback, those receivers. Just how do you ensure you guys aren't just getting pressure, but getting home on Thursday night?
Yeah, we just got to finish the plays that that come to us, and that's ultimately the biggest thing. I feel like last game things just weren't quite aligning, Just you just need the rush needs to be right, everything needs to be right for that sack to happen, especially with mobile quarterbacks. So yeah, definitely D-line. We got to affect the game on Thursday for sure if we want to win.
You guys went back and watched the film from last Thursday. What did you like? What did you dislike about your guys' performance?
Talking about as a defense?
Yeah. Defensive line in particular.
Defensive line, I think that there was opportunities there, and I thought for the most part we were getting him off the spot and affecting him, but some of those, Liam went free and I wasn't high enough and he squirted out, and then me and Tyleek both went high on it. It was just stuff that felt like it wasn't quite aligning, and a lot of the times when you're rushing fast and playing fast as a D-line, these things kind of just work out, and but it wasn't quite happening for us last game. So we're really putting an emphasis on communication and just kind of togetherness, because really that's ultimately, I've been a part of some really good D-lines, and when that energy is there, it's like you feel like you could do no wrong. If you're going really high, your boy's going to make you right, whatever. But I think we just got to get back to being on the same page, and a lot of that production would be there.
Have you noticed a different level of urgency within this team after that last loss? Have anybody came in and done any different, or just what did you notice from that last game as you enter in this final stretch?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have 5 games left for the regular season, I believe, and we're at a point where it is, you know, there's some adversity for sure. And, you know, we call ourselves a gritty team. It's all over this building. It's what people say about us. But I think it's easy to be gritty when you're winning games and it's all sunshine and rainbows. But in these moments, you know, when you're coming off a bad loss to a divisional opponent on Thanksgiving, it's just obviously none of us want that result. How can we come together and still make this season worthy of being remembered, you know? And that's going to be the biggest thing, is taking it week by week. And that's how we attack it, is taking it week by week. And obviously Dallas is, you know, we're putting 100% focus into this game, and yeah, that's kind of the mindset.
How do you manage the challenge of, you know, maybe upping the urgency a little bit, but not playing, you know, not pressing too hard, not playing out of your discipline, things like that?
Yeah, there's definitely a balance between trying to make plays and forcing it, but I think, you know, it all comes down to doing your job and executing, you know, the role that you've been given. And sometimes if that means getting out of the system, you will. But I think for the most part, if we just stay gap sound, we do our job, we wreak havoc on the quarterback, it's we just got to do our job.
Hutch, what kind of emphasis is there to get this team right within this building before you even look to Dallas?
Can you say it one more time?
Yeah,
get
what
this team
emphasis-
right?
Yeah, to fix what's here, you know, what you need to fix before you can even look towards Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the self-scouting is for the past 2 games that we kind of got to do a little bit. Obviously, we couldn't, coming off the short week, we couldn't talk too much about the Giants game, but I think watching that tape was good for us. But again, I think we know we have the talent in this building, so it's just a matter of everybody just doing it on Sundays, you know, and executing at a high level, and we know we're capable of that. I mean, this obviously last year was very successful, a lot of wins. This year it's a little bit different, but I still think we can accomplish everything we want to, and everything's still right in front of us if we just focus on this next one.
Has Tully given you any grief over what happened over the weekend?
Oh, yeah, right. He has a little bit. And, you know, they earned it, man. They earned it. I'm happy for him. And that's that. We're moving on.
You're happy for him?
You know, if it could put a smile on his face, it's my teammate. Want him to be happy. Yeah, man. You know, it's just moving on to next year.
Okay, so that was Aiden, and I got a few things I want to talk about here. My biggest fear just came out of his mouth. Number 1, Aiden said a couple of things here, talking about mobile quarterbacks, and said that he thought that they did a good job, you know, and especially with a mobile quarterback. How many yards did Jordan Love have this weekend? Or last week, Thursday?
4.
4.
Something like that. Yeah, not very much.
5
He
runs.
wasn't very mobile.
5 runs.
Yeah.
4 yards.
Yeah, I was guessing.
5 runs. 4 yards. Let me say it again. 5 runs that were not designed runs.
Yeah.
4 yards, Aiden. Where was the mobility that you were defending? He did not escape. Right? He didn't run for the first down marker. He didn't run for the touchdown. So what game were you playing? There was no mobile quarterback. Yeah, he's mobile, but in this game, he was not mobile. He wasn't using his feet. He wasn't a dual threat. Then he says this. When you're going really high, you expect your boy to be there. 1, who's he throwing under the bus? 2, why are you going really high? That is the one thing that all defensive ends know you can't do. And to compound that issue, he says, playing within the system, but if you have to get out of the system, you will. Huh? You're freelancing? Is that what we're doing now? We're free. Is that why we're having so much difficulty? Because you're freelancing, you're doing whatever you want to do, chasing those stats. Aiden, I don't care if you get 0 sacks the entire year. I would love for that number to be 20 TFLs and a 10, 20 stops. That's what I'd rather see. I don't care about the 7 to 15 plays on first or second down that have no bearing on the possession. Going really high, you expect your boy to be there. Well, that's problem number one. You went really high. You're opening up the run lanes. You're opening up the escape pods. Getting out of the system. Can't do it. You have to stay in the system. Can't freelance. Because when you freelance, that's when your boy that you expected to be there is still doing his job in the system. And so you're the one that's in the wrong, not him. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He didn't expect for you to freelance. He expected you to stay within the system. Make it make sense, Eric.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. But everyone is so quick to say he is so great. He is good. But not when you go really high and not when you get out of the system.
But he got 6 pressures in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Oh, my God. Spare me.
On the Giants game.
Spare me. Or 6 quarterback hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, spare me, right? 6 quarterback hits because, you know, the quarterback went down after he threw the pass and you touched him. I do like this statement, though. It's easy to be gritty when you win. What are we when we're losing? Are you still carrying that same grit? Are you still carrying that same attitude? Are you really ready to get after it? Because if they've lost that mojo, and if they've lost that feeling of we can come back, we can do this, we have what it takes. If they've lost that, cash in the season. You can't win every single week. It's not possible. It's rarely ever done. Expect losses. Okay? Losses hurt even worse when it's a division. And it's probably the toughest pills to swallow. Then you have to be even better the next week. You have to be able to rise above it. So I do like that statement, and I think what he's saying there is he's questioning the grit in the building. And I think that leads back to one of my biggest other fears is I feel that something is different in this locker room. And I don't know who or what it is. I really don't.
It feels different.
As a fan, it looks different. It feels different. These guys are in no emotion when they come and talk to the media. None, no emotion. I think we need to see some new faces in the media, getting their media sessions. Not just the captains, not just, a couple of guys here or there. I think we need to hear from some other guys. I think that'll help us understand what's going on. Like David Montgomery, I want to hear from him. J-Mo, okay. I need to hear from somebody else. I need to hear from Jahmyr Gibbs more. Obviously, we're going to hear from Jared Goff, but I want to hear from people like Jack. I want to hear from Thomas Harper even. I want to know, he's had a lot of time now starting, playing with this team. What's going on? I want to hear from him. Derek Barnes, I want to hear from him more. DJ Reader, I don't even know the last time he's come to the mic. I want to hear from him more. Tyleek Williams, when's the last time he spoke? I want to hear from some of the other guys to kind of see what's going on. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm down on this team, that I don't think that we can win, because I do think that we can win. I'll say it again. The Chiefs were 11-6. They won a Super Bowl. They did not look like a Super Bowl team. The Lions do not look like a Super Bowl team right now. But that
doesn't this team this year remind you of last year's Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, it was a couple years ago, but yeah, you're really reminiscent.
Well, last year's Chiefs, they were winning, but it was weird the way they were winning.
Well, that was because of the refs. But what I'm saying is 2 seasons ago when they won the Super Bowl, before the Chiefs or before the Eagles did, that they were 11-6. They did not look like a winning caliber team.
Yeah.
And they pulled it out. All they had to do was get in the dance, but see, they ended up winning. I'm pretty positive they ended up winning their division. And that's what allowed them to get a higher seed. And then they just took it the distance.
Yeah. Have you looked at social media at all to look and see how Chiefs fans have completely imploded and they're all up in arms about Andy Reid and they want him gone? And these casual fans, they just don't understand. You don't just throw away a head coach that got you to 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah, it's
and their fans are complaining like our fans are, about coaching this year. So it's not just us. It's across quite a few of the teams that were the juggernauts last year.
It's pretty sad. I'm sorry, the Chiefs have been amazing for more than a decade now. And as a fan, you couldn't just turn on a team like that. You have to expect a bad season.
Yeah.
At least every once in a while. They've just been spoiled. They're just a bunch of spoiled brats.
Well, then we turned into spoiled brats. We all did.
Oh, we did. We had no reason to.
But we did. We all turned into these spoiled brats. Listen, I had this conversation online this week. If you go back to Dan Campbell's first year or back to the Patricia years, if we were sitting at 7-5 with a 54% chance to make the playoffs, dude, I would have been over the moon for 7-5 this late in the season and a chance to make the playoffs after Thanksgiving. Hell yeah, put me in, sign me up, coach, because 0-16 and all these seasons, 3-13-1, when we had no prayer, no shot, no nothing after Thanksgiving for 32 years, we went all this time with not even a shot to hit the playoffs after Thanksgiving. Dude, I've been out here long enough. Sign me up, coach. I'm in. I'm all in. I'll cheer my guts out. I'll be there for every game. 7-5, I'll take it all day. Give me a chance. Just give me a shot. Let me have a chance.
I hear you. I'm saying, me personally, I have not become entitled or spoiled.
Yeah.
And
but a lot of fans have, because
Yeah.
now they're like, oh no, we want better than that. Our standards are higher and blah, blah, blah. Listen, dude, we've only been good for 2.5 seasons.
Exactly. And that's why, I think a lot of people, or some people, they don't understand or respect what you try to do here, which is speak the real, the raw, the authentic, and have the conversations that I think adults can have. Unfortunately, kids, today don't get it. Anyone that was born probably after the year 2010, maybe even 2000, just doesn't. If you're younger, I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying a large portion of people can't have an adult conversation where you can accept criticism, give criticism, and accept and understand and understand that you might have a different take, a different idea, agree to disagree, shake hands, hug it out afterwards.
Yeah.
Those conversations are for adults. And in this space and on this channel, I can have a disagreement with you. I'll shake your hand right now. It's okay. All right. It's okay to have a differing opinion. And I think that's why a lot of people stick around, because they realize they're going to get the real. They're going to get the raw. They can have those conversations in this chat and understand that we're going to be friends after the fact. If you're going to just sit up, like Aiden said, it's not all, what do you say, rainbows and sunshine? If you're in that mentality that it's always rainbows and sunshine and we are the best team in the world and, our standards are way too high. Okay, go back 5 years, because that's who we were. That's what this team was for 30, 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Big nothing burger. The trash talk of the NFL. The laughing stock of the NFL. And to Eric's point, 2.5 seasons, we've been really good. All right, 24, 23, and half of 22. We've been really good. Eric, is it Ben Johnson's fault that we're not doing well?
No.
It's not. It's nothing to do with Ben Johnson. Let's talk about the Bears for a quick moment before I bring out. Let me get out of this before I had to fix your camera real quick.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
The Bears are now in first place after beating the Philadelphia Eagles convincingly, by the way, with 2 running backs, both rushing for over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now they're calling them the Bruise Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Swift and his Malachi or whatever his name is.
Manangai.
Munungai, that's it. So my question is this. The Bears are now number 1 in the NFC North. And they now own the tiebreaker with the Rams. So they are the number 1 overall seed. Realistically, how long do you think the Bears hold on to both of those spots?
Hold on to which 2 spots?
The number 1 overall seed and the number 1 spot in the NFC North.
Not long. I mean, it could go down to week 15 or I don't know what the hell just happened to my camera. I forgot to adjust something.
You mean week 18?
No, it could go down to like week 15, week
Oh, okay.
16. I think that they could probably hang on to it. I'd have to look at their schedule again, but
Maybe
Yeah,
they
for the-
beat the Packers this week.
no, I don't think so. But the first thing that I want to comment on is the fact that one of the first things that I see after this game is there was a post that I should have taken advantage of. It had Gibbs and Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles, and then it had Swift and Manangai, and it said, so there's Sonic and Knuckles. What do we call these two?
Yeah, now they're calling them the Bruise Brothers.
And my response was, here, let me tell you exactly, because I can't remember exactly what my response was.
And before we move off the Bears, I got one more thing about the Bears too.
Yeah, no, we're gonna talk it out for just a second on the Bears because number one, the fact that they've only played one winning team, one winning team this season, that should tell you enough. That should tell you enough about who the Bears really are. So my response to it says, if Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are Sonic and Knuckles, what nicknames would you give Kyle Manangai and DeAndre Swift? And I said, Dumb and Dumber. Just being real.
All right.
It's dumb and dumberer that one, you want to compare yourself to two guys that have been doing it for 2.5 seasons or 2 seasons, whatever it's been, plus this year, so 2.5. Two guys that have played one winning team, the worst schedule in the league, some of the worst defenses in the league. You're not even in pissing distance, shouting distance, even of what Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery have done. Just stop.
They had one good game.
Just stop. Right? Like, seriously, wake up and think about what you just said. Dumb and dumberer is why I'm putting it there because it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen online.
Yeah.
All right, you had another thing you want to say about the Bears?
All right. So this is another thing I wanted to say about the old Chicago Bears. Okay. And I'm not picking on them, but listen, they got just a little bit too overexcited by beating their first winning team of the season in the Philadelphia Eagles. So last year, week 17, the Minnesota Vikings won a game to match up with the Lions with 14 wins. Excuse me. And they won that game, and they go back to the locker room, and they pop champagne, and they're acting like they won the Super Bowl.
Who was this? The Bears?
No, the Vikings last year.
Oh, the Vikings. Yeah.
So the Vikings last year in week 17, they won. I can't remember who they beat, Seahawks or somebody. And
wasn't it week 17?
Yeah, and it put them at 14 wins. Okay, so they're tied with us for 14 wins, and they're popping champagne and they're celebrating in the locker room like you wouldn't believe. And what do? They come out the next week and they lose to us 30-something to 9, and then they lose in the first round of the playoffs. Sunday, the Chicago Bears beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and in the locker room afterward, Ben Johnson celebrates like you wouldn't believe, and he rips his shirt off and goes shirtless in the locker room, acting like the Vikings did in week 17. I'm guessing that might come back to haunt him doing the whole shirtless thing.
And who is he trying to mimic here?
Oh, Dan Campbell all the way.
No, because Dan hasn't ripped his shirt off yet.
No.
No.
Oh, who ripped his shirt off?
Hold on. I think it was Harbaugh that was out coaching without a shirt on when he was at U of M.
Oh, okay.
But hold on here. Of course, Ben is all over the front page of the news here. I'm pretty positive it was Pete Carroll.
Oh yeah, Pete Carroll did the whole take his shirt off thing.
Yeah, I was trying to look for it.
Look how that worked out for old Pete.
Yeah. It's pretty sure it was Pete Carroll. So, I see Ben Johnson as just an ankle biter. He's like that little chihuahua that you hate. That only loves one person, but even that person that it loves, it'll bite its own owner's face off. That's Ben in a nutshell, man. He's a little chihuahua that literally pissed on the Lions doormat on his way out and then bit Dan Campbell in the face and said, "We ain't friends no more. I'm going to Chicago." They ain't friends. I never did the video, but Dan Campbell said some things a few weeks back about Aaron Glenn and the success that Aaron Glenn was having. He definitively said, "Yeah, I still keep in touch with Aaron Glenn. We text all the time." And the question was posed about Aaron and Ben. Didn't mention Ben at all. I don't think they're really that good of friends anymore. I think that Ben Johnson is in my opinion, just like Caleb Williams, too much wrapped up into himself. Okay, so they got one against the Eagles.
Yep.
Okay. The Eagles have looked like straight trash for about 3-4 weeks in a row.
Yep.
They do not look like a team that just won a Super Bowl. They don't look, come on, we shut them down on the tush push. The week before that, they barely beat the Packers.
On social media, the Bears are trying to say they're the first team to shut down the tush push. No, they're not.
Well, I don't know. I guess tell me a game. Tell me a game.
The Lions did 2 weeks before.
Are they saying because of this most recent game?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That they're the first team to shut down the tush push.
We shut it down, 3 times in that game?
I thought we were 4 out of 6.
3 or 4? But either way, the Eagles have not looked great. That is the first team that the Bears have beaten that has a winning record this season. I love these glasses, but with the transitions, man, they're not working today.
They don't go clear?
No, they're not going clear. They're supposed to. With all the lights in my face is probably why.
Yeah.
Look, the Bears, they have an opportunity. They have some good players. They're playing from the front right now, meaning that they haven't had a tough loss in a while. Who are they going to be when they lose? And when they have some tough opponents coming up, I was going to record while I was doing this, but I think I'm going to pass. I got to get the transition somehow working. Maybe I got some bunk glasses. The Bears' schedule, they're up against the Packers, then they go up against the Browns. The Browns defense, man, they're still playing lights out. I know Myles Garrett only had one sack this weekend.
He's got 19 now.
It's crazy. I think
22.5 is the record.
They're straight up going to get after Caleb Williams. The Packers are going to get after Caleb Williams. I don't know the Packers' health right now, but then they go up against the Packers again in 3 weeks, so twice in 3 weeks. Then they go out to the 49ers. That is not an easy place to win. And then they come back to play the Lions. So their last 5 games of the year, it's Packers twice, Browns, 49ers, and Lions.
It's only one losing team.
The Browns, which have a good defense. And I still think they're going to lose 3 out of the next 5.
Yeah. They could lose 4 out of the next 5.
They could, but I'm going to say definitively 3.
Yeah, they probably split with the Packers, and maybe they beat the Browns. Depends on what Shedeur decides to do that day.
I don't even think Shedeur has to do anything. I just think that the Browns defense just needs to stand them up.
Yeah. I think that with the Browns too, it's coming down to coaching. Stefanski's doing some weird crap with Shador. You know, he looked great in the first half, then comes out the second half, and they totally do a different offense. So I don't get it. They ask too much of them, and then they don't ask enough sometimes.
Here's what it's going to be. Here's what it's going to be. The Bears are going to be 10-6. The Lions are going to be 10-6 going into Week 18.
Yep.
Now let me say that again. The Bears could be 11-5, and the Lions would be 11-5 going into Week 18.
Ooh, that'd be spicy.
And the Packers will be 9-5-1, 14-15, 9-6-1.
Ooh.
Maybe not, because they'll be 10. They'll be 10-6-1 to finish the season. That's where we need them to be. I see them beating the Bears twice, but they also have.
See, we might need to get that.
They have the Broncos, the Ravens, and the Vikings. So let's just say the Packers could win 3 games. If you look at it, they can win 3 games. They can beat the Bears twice and the Vikings.
Yeah.
They should lose to the Broncos and the Ravens. So if the Bears go 3-2, if the Packers go 3-2, that puts them at 11-5-1. 11-5-1. That's where the Detroit Lions need to finish 12-5. We can't
lose a game.
We can't lose a game, because if we tie, if we go 11-6, the Packers will be number 1, we'll be number 2, the Bears will be number 3. We'll still be in the playoffs. We won't have a 4 seed. We'll be like 7.
See, to me, I don't care how we make the playoffs. I don't care if we get a home game. I don't care if we win the division. I just want to get in the dance.
Yeah.
I want a ticket. I want a ticket to go to the dance. I don't care how we get there. I don't care where we got to go. That's why I said I'm willing wild card weekend to go to Lambeau Field. I'll buy a ticket. I will go and support my team. I don't care where they play. I'll go down. I'll go down to the Bucks. Yeah, let's go down and play the Bucks.
Yeah, that'd be. I would love to go down to Florida. That'd give me some time to go.
Me too.
See my kids.
I'd love to go someplace warm. I'll go back out to San Francisco. I don't care. I loved California. That was great.
All right, I want to listen to Dan Campbell and how he broke it down. See what he said yesterday, getting ready for the next game.
All right.
So there was a really strange tweet from Kirby that said something like 4 words. Is there any kind of update on his status?
I don't know. I don't know about the tweet. No, I mean he'll be running around doing some individual stuff like that. He's doing a little bit more, but I don't know anything about the tweet.
Maybe coming back this week against the Cowboys.
I mean he's closer than he was before. He's close. We'll know a lot more really tomorrow. Today's a walkthrough, so tomorrow, Friday, see where he's at. But he is getting better. Like we said, he gets better every week.
Obviously didn't expect him to be out this long. Otherwise, maybe he would have gone on IR. Is it just a pain management thing? What has been the holdup exactly?
Well, a lot of it is just trying to get some stability, in the leg, and get some strength, get some stability, which in turn will help some of the pain, but also some of the wear and tear. The stronger you get it in there, it stabilizes it, and so it doesn't wear out as fast or create that kind of pain with it. So that's really what a lot of it is right now.
And you're pretty confident will clear up when he has the offseason to rest, or is there a concern of chronic?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. I don't think it's necessarily going away, but I think you do the best you can to manage it. That's it's like a lot of these guys, that have gotten some injuries here or deals with could be cartilage or meniscus or anything like that. It's you do your best to manage it, and there'll always be a little wear and tear, and it's just how bad is it, But I do know that the more you can strengthen and stabilize, that helps a ton. Helps with the swelling, helps with the pain. So that's where we're at.
What is his exactly? Is it more than a bone bruise then? Is he dealing with something else?
No, I mean, I think I think bone bruise was certainly part of it, but it's also just, he's got some wear. He's got a little wear, that's all.
Yesterday, you were asked about the pass rush, and you said there, felt like there were 3 snaps where you didn't get home that you thought you should have.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a 0 sack performance. So if you're getting the pressure you want, what do you need to do more as an overall defense to be getting home more and not just getting the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, first of all, Love did a hell of a job. He's a heck of a player, man. And, that ball was coming out fast, and he threw a few of these now off his back foot, and it was on point. So, he's got that ability. But, I think more than anything, it's, you do your best that you can to set up a one-on-one where you can find one. You're trying to fabricate some of these. Most of them come up in third down to where you want to get your guy in a one-on-one, and then it's up to him to win. And so it's, we had a few of those, and we didn't, we felt good about the person that we had, and we just didn't quite get there in time. So got to be a little bit better. And fundamentally, it's a little bit like what I told the defense. We just, details and discipline, and really fundamentally, we got to get better. We got to get better. And it can't just be you're going to win off talent, or things of that nature. It was really more about pointing out all the things that have nothing to do with talent. Which really is, it is the details, the discipline, and the fundamentals. So we just got to be a little more on point there. We can. Everybody's got to do their job, and that'll help. That'll go a long way.
Whatever you go ahead.
Coach, I was saying y'all been out in Dallas the last couple of years. Obviously, had the game out there. Y'all lost a controversial one. Then y'all come back last year. Y'all blew them. How is it just to have Dallas at home this time, and host that team here?
Yeah, I feel like we've been out there 3 or 4 times. I don't know. Has it been 3 or is it 2? I don't know what it is. So yeah, to be able to get them back home, that's good. That's different, because but they're playing good football right now. Playing with a lot of confidence, man. They've beefed up that defense. It's a really good D-line. Those guys are active. Eberflus has done a hell of a job. He's a good defensive coordinator. We know him, obviously. He was in this division. Defense always played well. But he's doing a good job. And then, what shot he's done offensively over there. And Prescott, those 2 receivers. They got a run game. O-line's rugged. It's a good team. It's a good team, man. This is a real good team playing at a high level, confident football. So it's be a good test for us, man. We're pretty fired up.
The last 3 years, I was just going to ask, being how good they are since Quinnen Williams came aboard, what sort of impact he's had on that defense, and kind of how they've played the last few weeks with him in the middle.
Yeah, he helps. He helps those guys. You guys know how I feel about Kenny Clark. I think he's an outstanding player, and so. That helps Kenny, and it helps really the rest of them. 41 plays at a high level, man. He can burn the edge. You got Clowney. They still got Fowler. They got some guys now. 97's a good player. He can get an edge. But it really, you put Quinnen in there, man. He's already he's a good player, man. Run and pass, gets off the ball, disruptive, but then he really helps those guys around him. He does, because now there's some resources you may need there, and the rest of those guys, they'll get some 5-down stuff and let those guys go. So it's a good unit, but we just faced a pretty good unit too.
Ask about Josh Paschal. He didn't get activated last week. Did he have a setback, or just wasn't not enough time?
Yeah, it wasn't. It just wasn't enough time, really, to really be able to say that we knew he would be able to get through the year or that he was ready. That's what it came down to. Hate it for him, but it's where it was at.
How do you limit the explosives against an offense like that?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy because those two receivers, man. Here's what they do a great job of, and it helps. You got two number one receivers on the outside, and both of them are two different types of players, so that gives them variety, versatility. But then they run the ball well. They have a diverse run scheme. They do a lot of under center. Dak, they're against playing at a high level. The run action, the play pass stuff has been really good. So when you can run it like they run it, and then you got those guys, and they got a pretty good tight end, man, they become explosive. So, I'll go back to this. So much of it is going to start with shutting this run game down. We cannot let this run game get going, and because those guys are a handful anyway on the perimeter. But if we can just at least shut down some of this two-dimensional football, that's going to go a long way for us.
Just one more follow-up about Dallas. What did you take from the 2023 experience that's become kind of legendary a little bit here with the Dan Skipper game and what that's become? But what did you take from that experience, particularly in the end? Did you learn anything?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, that was a crazy game, right? I mean, that was, everything that came down to, and had an opportunity there at the end and just wasn't able to close it out. But there was a number of things. I don't know if I'd say I learned anything really. I think more than anything, it just makes you mad. That's about it. But all good, man. It was if you're a fan, that was a heck of a game. I know that. And you try to, if anything, you get in that situation again, you try to find a way to win that one instead of, how do you keep it out of the hands of the officials? That's really what you're trying to do. Just leave it out of there. That way it's just up to you.
You ever seen six linemen become a cult hero like Skipper too? It's crazy.
Not really. It's Skip's he's a different breed of man, so he's something else. He does a good job, man. I'll tell you what, he's dependable now. He's reliable, dependable, and he does a lot of jobs for us. So
you said that 2023 game makes you mad. It does feel like you put a little extra sauce into the one last year. You guys opened up the playbook and really took it to them, gave them one of their worst losses in franchise history at their place. Do you think that there's carryover year to year? Do you think maybe they're going to be looking to bring a little extra into this one because of the way they, lost that game last year?
I don't know. I mean, I think every team's different, every year's different. But I know this: they want to win this game. I know that because I know we want to win this game. So they're playing good football. They're very much in that division race over there right now, and playoff race. We're an NFC opponent, and I know that they want to beat us. So, but we want to win too, and we need to win. So that's where this game's at.
Any updates on Graham and Brock?
Yeah, Graham's he's better. There again, we walked through today, and then Brock, really nothing new from last week. We're still sending out scans for what he, for this trachea, and just seeing if there's, any other second opinions that would change, I guess, the outlook for him playing, and right now there's really nothing right now that would change that. So we're just kind of in, I know that frustrates him. He wants to play, but we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now.
And that could be a long-term deal?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yep. What's that?
Follow-up. Does this feel, I know that you don't ever consider a game a must-win, just given where you guys are and where the division is going and what's at stake against another important NFC opponent battling for a playoff spot. Is there part of that may be a little bit true at this juncture?
Well, our margin for error is very small right now. So, of course, we got to find a way to win, and we want to win, and I think I go back to this. We just lost one. We got to find a way to win this next one in front of us. And yeah, time's running out. And so, It's all about finding a way to win the game. But I've also been in these now before where we got counted out when I was a player. We lost 2 in a row, and we were almost mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. That was all the writing, and then we won out and got in. So you find a way to win the one in front of you and don't get caught up in the rest of the stuff. That's the bottom line. We're in this business to win. We're trying to win. We got to win.
What year was that for you as a player?
I was 02.
All right, that was Dan Campbell. A couple of hot bites here. We'll get into a few things what Dan Campbell said. I actually didn't get a chance to watch this yesterday, and
Nope, neither did I.
I'm glad that I didn't. If you saw my facial reaction to what he had said about the officials, which is how to keep it out of the hands of the officials. Now, I've had a statement now for a long time on how you win games. And because we've had to battle the officials for so long, it seems like as Lions fans, there's 2 things that you do. One, you have to be able to put points up on the board to keep the officials at bay. But the most important thing you have to do is keep points off the board for the other team to keep the officials out of the game. I've said that now for 3 seasons. I've meant that every single season when I've said it. I understand that in this most recent game that it seemed like every drive for the Packers, they continued their drive or had an extension of their drive based on a penalty against the Lions. So how do you defeat that? And to Dan's words, how do you keep it out of the hands of the officials? You have to play tight to your details. You have to play tight to your assignments. You have to put up points. That means you have to take the points when you have an opportunity to take the points. Just a couple of different things in this game that maybe the Lions could have done differently against the Packers could have changed the outcome. Could have. I'm not going to say definitively would have. Could have. Couple of other things. When Dan was kept at the podium there by the last individual that I don't know her name, margin of error. I'll say it like a sniper would say it. Aim small, miss small. So Dan, it's time to aim small. And that means take the effing points. If you miss big, if you aim big and miss big, the game gets out of control. But if you aim small, you're going to miss small. So tighten everything, condense everything that you do. That means take the points, Dan. That means don't call these wild plays that have a very low margin of success. You go into your playbook and you get with your offensive gurus and you say, what are the highest margin plays that we have? What plays hit the most? I only want those plays in the playbook this week against the Cowboys. What did we do well last year against the Cowboys? What plays hit the most? Because we smoked the Cowboys. What were those plays? You should be peppering those plays all week long in practice. Go back and look at the previous season. What did we not do well? What plays had the lowest margin? I don't want those plays. That's how you aim small. Dan needs to aim really small. He needs to dial that in even more so this week. He needs to keep these guys on their details. And I'm glad that he mentioned details. Number 1, he said that Love did a great job. Or number 3, Love did a great job. Ball coming out fast. He was throwing some of those balls off his back foot, which meant that the defensive line was getting there. You just a quarter of a second late. But is it a quarter of a second late when the ball's coming out in 2.5 seconds? That's pretty tough. It's tough enough to even get a pressure in 2.5 seconds, let alone a sack. The average time to sack in the league is closer to 3 seconds than it's not. Do your best to set up a one-on-one. We didn't win our one-on-ones. And he says that he liked some of the opportunities that he gave his guys. He liked the guy that they were going up against that they were trying to set up. They couldn't win. That's Aiden. Not winning your one-on-ones. When they're trying to set up Aiden, everyone else has a job to do. They've done their job. Aiden is the person that needs to perform. Now it could be the other way. You could be setting up AQM. You could be setting up Jack. You could be setting up Anzo. You could be setting up Branch. You could be setting anybody up. It's unlikely to be a Lee McNeil, DJ Reader, and Tyleik Williams from the center of the defense. It's going to be your ends and your linebackers in either your safety or your corner, your nickel corner that you're trying to set up. I didn't see them get set up a whole lot in that game. I saw Aiden get some opportunities. Saw Jack get some opportunities. Saw Branch get some opportunities. But you have to win. Details, discipline. Details, discipline. Aiden said the same thing in his video or in his media on yesterday, whenever it was. When one guy's going high, I expect my boy to be there. No. Oh, if we're going to get out of the system, it's okay. No. Details and discipline. Dan just said our biggest problem right now is getting better as a defense. And it's not talent. Eric, I mean, that's an indictment, right, on your defense when you say this is beyond talent. We have the talent. They're just not doing their damn job. Meaning they're not sticking to the details. They're not sticking to the discipline. They're not playing within the scheme. And if one guy, just like on the offense, if one guy is getting out of control, forget it. It'll screw everything up. It is that difficult in the NFL that when one guy is spinning out of control, it's going to pull everybody into the loop of bullshit. Causes chaos. Same thing on the offensive line or anywhere in the offense. When you have one guy not doing his job, it throws everybody out of whack. It throws the timing off. Same exact principle. We're already dealing with it when on the offense, and now the defense is sitting there trying to make plays, and they're getting out of their details. Now, I'm not going to just pinpoint Aiden, but we know Aiden is part of that. He even said it as much himself. There's other guys that aren't making plays. Our secondary is allowing way too much free space. Calvin Shepard is doing way too much man and not man under where it should be. We're too much over the top. You can't give a cushion like that. Get some guys underneath to be able to have a chance at a ball. For once, Dan said he didn't learn anything. I thought I was going to puke on set here had he said that again. Yeah, I learned some stuff about this game. Dan, you should have learned by now.
That just tells me there's too much on his effing plate right now. Trying to be OC and head coach at the same time. He didn't plan on that coming into the season. This John Morton thing has been a debacle. And I've heard a lot of fans asking me, actually, what do I think about John Gruden? Would he be a good offensive coordinator? I'm like, well, yeah, of course. He would be a great offensive coordinator, I think.
Well, ask Johnny Moe. He's learned everything from John Gruden, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
It's what he says in every time he goes and addresses the media. Oh, Gruden, learned a lot from Gruden. Those guys, they do a good job. Hey, get after it now. John Gruden, man. Yeah, I spoke about John Gruden a few weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know because he's got this checkered past.
Yeah.
With the whole racial crap. And I didn't, I don't know everything. I'm not going to say that I know everything about all of that. All I know is for me, I would probably look in a different direction simply because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I am the furthest person that would ever be accepting to anything, right, wrong, or indifferent, walking the line. I know that the NFL can be very raw and kind of raw dog you a little bit out of the league, and I think some of that probably happened with Gruden, but I'll never give anybody a pass on any of that stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's some good names. I think a lot of them just got locked up yesterday in college. Some college head coaches, including Michigan State, just got a new coach. Great. Northwestern. Woohoo! Good job. Yeah, there's a lot of coaches that could be had. I don't know. It's so early for me. I have no idea.
It's too early to talk about it. I just brought it up because people were messaging me yesterday asking me about it, and right now I just think that Johnny Moe was a disaster.
Well, I guess okay. So let's go down that path for just a second. What offensive coordinators that are coming available do you think that could fit?
I have no clue. I haven't even looked. Just the fact that I don't know how Dan could miss this. He's been so spot on with all of his other coaching hires through offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators and all these assistant coaches. Every time after time after time, he's gotten it right. This is the first one he got it wrong, and he didn't just get it wrong. He got it royally wrong. If after 7 or 8 weeks you had to take the reins away from the guy, that tells me this is almost the Anthony Lynn situation, very close to it, where their philosophies just are not clicking. I know they're saying the PR thing and saying, oh, he's still helping and he's still up in the box. And, you know, on game day, they still showed Johnny Morton up in the box and blah, blah, blah. Well, he needed to be down on the sideline the whole time, not up in the box. That's what an assistant's for.
So, yeah, I won't even get into the offensive coordinators anymore. Like,
yeah,
that is such a long conversation. There's
going to be this Johnny Moe thing than meets the eye.
Yeah, there is. And I think that there's one definitive thing that I said in the spring when all this was going down, and I said, we haven't heard of any interviews. Everyone was locking up their coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Lions didn't interview anybody. And then all of a sudden Johnny Moe gets named, you know, the offensive coordinator. Calvin Shepard gets named the defensive coordinator, which I think a lot of us expected.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going to happen with Hank Fraley. Look, we lost 14 coordinators or 14 coaches. That's a lot. That's a ton of turnover. And yeah, this you could say is a down season because we lost not just 2 coordinators, we lost 14 assistants and personnel coaches, right? Positional coaches.
People in the chat talking about Tanner Engstrand. Yeah, they've won, what, 3 games this year?
Oh, yeah. No, Tanner wasn't the answer.
Give me a break. You know,
Yeah,
Tanner, I don't think Tanner was the
I mean, I will say this for Tanner. He's the first-year head coach. It's going to take a couple of seasons, just like it is for Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
But I have more confidence in Glenn than I do Tanner.
Yeah. It was nice to see they won yesterday. That was kind of cool.
There's going to be some turnover here pretty soon. There's going to be some coordinators, some coaches that are going to be getting fired over the next couple of weeks when more teams are eliminated from playoffs. And then things are going to start to open up a little bit as to who's going to be available next year. What I will say is please don't fit. I'm going to have one request. Don't fit a round peg in a square hole. And what I mean by that is don't go out and look for a guy that has a really great offensive background with mobile quarterbacks. Go look for a guy that does the spread offense well, that doesn't need a mobile quarterback, because if you bring in a guy like, I don't know, Todd Monken or Cliff Kingsbury or, you know, somebody like that, even Dan Pitcher, like, you know, you bring in guys like this, Joe Brady. I'm not saying any of them are going to be available. I'm just saying, like, you bring in a guy like that they expect their quarterback to be mobile. That will not work in Detroit. Because if you're going to bring in a guy like that, then you might as well bring in a new quarterback.
And you can't do that because Goff's contract kicks in next year.
Yeah, you'd be up, you know what hill and up what river.
Because we already have to restructure them in the spring, or else we can't make payroll.
Yeah, more than likely, you would expect us to have to do something.
Goff ain't going nowhere. And I've heard that over and over and over again on social media. We need to get rid of Goff. We need a mobile quarterback. Dude, I am sick of that. That whole narrative that we need to get rid of Goff. Goff is not the problem. Goff is the answer. I'm sorry. He is not the problem.
So I'll give you this, though.
Did you see Goff's super long run? on Thursday. That was a thing of beauty. I'm like, why doesn't he do that more?
By the way, that was more than
his longest run.
That was more than half the yards that Tom Brady averaged per year.
Yeah, that was his longest run from scrimmage ever.
So I will say this though, if there is a team out there that is willing to give the Lions 2 first-round picks for Goff, do it. That's when you do it.
Yeah.
If there's a team out there that's willing to give you 2 first-round picks for Aiden, do it. And then you rebuild quickly. That means you bring in a seasoned quarterback. You bring in a couple of, quasi-vet defensive ends. You go out and you get a couple of first-rounders. That's how you rebuild fast. That's me as a GM. You don't want me as a GM because that's what I would do. I'm cutthroat when it comes to business like that. That's just how I would be. Now, I'm the nicest guy in the world, but when it comes to business and it comes to putting a team together, I absolutely would not be the nicest guy in the world. Obviously, you'd want to keep the players that are good for your team and good for your city and good for the, fans and all that. You keep them around if they are producing. But if they are not producing, it's pretty hard to keep people around. Eric, what else was on your list today? I know we're after 10 o'clock. I don't know how you are today, but
I'm all right. I'm all right. I can stick around.
I still want to get to Goff. Should we get to Goff real quick?
Yeah, let's do that. I got something I'm looking up. Oh, and by the way, I lost the audio on the videos.
Yeah, I'll have to fix it. Everything's screwed up for me today when I tried putting this camera together. All right,
Yeah.
Jared Goff yesterday.
Me a sense, obviously not really a short turnaround, but you get to face a Dallas team that's been playing pretty well at this point in time. What's the difference with their defense the last 3 games as opposed to the first 6?
Yeah, they're playing really well since the bye. They're playing with a lot of energy. They're playing hard. They're playing fast. It's flying around. Defense is getting better, it seems, every week. And Coach Eberflus got a lot of respect for him and his scheme. And so we'll have to put in some work this week and come out ready to go.
What's the difficulty of having 2 all Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackles in this area? What's the biggest challenge for it?
Hard to plan for just one of them. You got to kind of plan for both of them. They're going to be on opposite sides of the ball typically. And, you'd love to be able to say, we're just going to run away from Quinnen, and then you're running right into Kenny, and vice versa. You want to run away from Kenny, and you got to run into Quinnen. So, yeah, there's challenges there, but we've got guys up front that we know can handle that and do that job.
To what extent does this feel like a must-win game? You guys all said it after the loss to Green Bay. You guys have kind of put yourself in a little bit of a hole.
Yeah, sure. They all feel that way, and they will feel that way from here on out. The last 5 will all feel must-win, and you say that, but there's a lot of things that can happen, and of course you want to win every game, and we want to win this one. This one's very important, and certainly it's an NFC opponent, a team that's in the playoff hunt, just like we are, and so yeah, it's a very important one, and we want to win.
We know the connection that you and Frank had over the years. Just how much of a roller coaster has this situation with him been?
Yeah, not as much of a roller coaster as it seems outside. I was excited to get him back there for a couple of days, and then obviously fell through with the physical stuff. But he's doing well. I'm happy. He's happy, and in a good place.
We know a lot about his toughness. Can you even fathom how somebody would have a grade 3 hamstring injury and not really know it?
Yeah, his pain tolerance is pretty high. So yeah, he's a special dude.
How do you feel like it went with Tristan first game?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. His communication was good. His in and out of the huddle he was good with me on the sidelines, talking through all the stuff, and I thought he did a great job.
With Litter Robot, I never have to.
Not a whole lot there from Jared Goff. I am about so sick of this Litter Robot ad. Like, that's all that they must have paid the Lions so much freaking money.
Oh, they did. Even at the stadium.
Cow.
Yeah, Litter Robot's like the official litter thing for the NFL or something.
All right, let's just roll right into Brian Branch.
I did want to say that Jared Goff's rush was for 24 yards.
Yes, that's just 5 yards short of Tom Brady's annual average.
Yeah.
Annual season average. All right,
Yeah.
Brian Branch. Can we turn the defense around?
And they're building the crazy one, of course, in 23. Just give me a sense of where they are this season and what's been so effective for them the last 3 games that they've won.
They on the road this year. Offensively, they seem to be clicking with George, CD, and Dak. But not only them, their running game is a big part of why they clicking too.
Jamb talked about just discipline, fundamentals, that kind of stuff being kind of his message to the defense. You guys have given up some plays in the passing game. Obviously, this is a dangerous team coming. What do you guys have to do this week to clean up maybe some of those little things and the explosive plays you're allowing in the passing game?
Just get back to our roots and discipline and stuff. That's really, we beat ourselves and literally. So, yeah, it's nothing too much about the other teams, what they do. It's all about us. And if we, hold into our crafts and disciplined, and yeah, we're going to be all right.
Clearly, the margin for error is shrinking just a little bit with this team right now after that loss last week. But give me a sense, is that something that you put in your minds or just try to put to the back page and, as you said, just stick to our own game?
Yeah, it's not a time for panic. I feel like everybody outside of the organization is panicking. But as long as we play our game, we're going to be fine.
Kirby, it sounds like is getting a little bit closer to coming back. Just what that would mean for you guys defensively.
That would be a huge part. Everybody know Kirby. Kirby go get that ball, and that's something that we need for him to go get that ball. So adding that back to our defense, it would be huge.
What about the job Thomas has done though, stepping in the last 6 games?
Sure, he's done everything the coaches asked him to do. It's almost like a mini curb out there. If you see him, if you really watch, people really watch the game of football instead of just, watching highlights. You see like he's playing the post like as good as there could be. And, as long as you just keep on doing that, he'll be fine.
Questions?
I got lots of questions, Dan. Got lots of questions. I have lots of questions. All right, so let's get right into Brian Branch here. It's all about us. We beat ourselves. We've heard this every week, Eric. It's all about us. We beat ourselves. As long as we do what we need to do, stay within our details, we'll be fine. No panic. Everyone outside the organization is panicking. Yeah, you should be panicking. They are in such a deep rut right now that it is hard for any team to get out of it. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that everything is good. It's not. We're not in a good position. But I will say, if there is a team that has shown us that they are able to climb out, it's the Lions. They've been able to do it year after year. Now, last year was a bit of an anomaly, 15-2 on the backs of our backups. The year before, what were we? 14-3, or 12-5? What were we? 14-3. That was a much better. No, we were 12-5, weren't we?
When?
23.
Yeah, we went 12-5.
Yeah, 12-5. We are not that much different from that team. Right? That year, we didn't lose 2 games in a row. Right? We finished 12-5 and make the playoffs. We have 2 home games. We're not that much different outside of the fact that things just don't seem like they're clicking like they were then. That year, we didn't have a defense. We had an offense.
Yeah, even if you go back to 2022 when we were 9-8, okay, we were just a half game from making the playoffs. If the Seattle Seahawks could have won that game, we would have went to the playoffs.
Yeah, refs had their hands in that game too.
Yeah, and listen, we beat the Packers like we should have done to cap off the end of that season with a win. We won a game we weren't supposed to win at the end of the season against Aaron Rodgers, and sent him packing. Well, that really reminds me of this Lions team, and they didn't get hot until the very end of the year. And it was a win and get in situation, and you needed a little bit of help. It might be that way again this year, but you know what? Everybody said this, that 9-8 team after that Packer game, everyone was lucky that the Lions did not make the playoffs that year, because no one wanted to face that 9-8 Lions team the way they were playing at the end of the year that year.
And the defense,
and that's what we need to do this year at the end of the year for these last 5 games.
And the defense did finally wake up there at the probably the last 4 to 6 games of the season. They finally started to wake up, but that offense was cooking. Now, the Lions offense is still cooking. Like, even though it doesn't seem like it,
we're 4th right now in the league in scoring.
And we're doing that looking like crap.
Yes.
Looking like complete crap. Now, is that more of an indictment on the rest of the league? Because they're not fourth and maybe they're playing their best football? The part that I'm a little bit nervous about is we're kind of this what's going to happen next team. And we can't, like, what's around the next corner? You know what I'm saying? Like, 1 minute we're playing good, the next minute we look like crap. That one possession we're playing great, the next possession, 2 or 3, we look like crap. What team is going to show up on which possession? That's the part that scares me. I remember definitively in 2023, man, there was not a time, Eric, in any one of those games that I was nervous. I'm like, it's fourth down, we got this. No problem. We're just going to run it, we got it. And even last year, fourth down, we needed 2-3 yards, no problem. We're just going to run it right out and we got it. And I said this last year on this show. I said there was never been a time in my life where I felt like we could just tote the rock and smash it down anybody's mouth whenever we wanted to. I've never felt like that until last year. Yeah. This year, I don't have that same confidence. And I think that's a big reason why. Obviously, we have a lot more to talk about. We'll get into it more tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get into, we got Thursday games, so we're going to be getting into the Cowboys a little bit early. Yeah. Definitely all day Wednesday and Thursday. So, well, not Thursday. You'll be at the game on Thursday.
Friday I won't be on because I'm going to the game, but hopefully Wednesday I can make it on before I leave.
All right. What's your final of the day, man?
Well, let's see. Everything is in front of this Detroit Lions team. And there was something special about 9-8 and 12-5 for this Detroit Lions team in 2022 and 2023. And that was the fact that the Lions were the underdogs. And they relished that role, okay? The Lions played better as an underdog than they did as the favorite every friggin' week. And when the chips were down, they won the games that they needed to get and to get into the playoffs, especially in the 12-5 season. And, no one saw us going 12-5. No one saw us winning back-to-back playoff games to get to the NFC Championship game. So don't lose hope on this season. It can happen just like it did during that 12-5 season. We can still go 12-5. We could rack off 5 wins in a row. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. But I'm not going to give up hope until it doesn't happen. So let's go one game at a time. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go win this thing. Let's figure out a way to do it. Let's beat the Dallas Cowboys.
So Cowboys are coming in hot. And they're coming in hot offensive and defensively. Or offensively and defensively. There has been a common theme this year that I think, or I know if you're a true fan, you see it. The Packers, they came in to play the Lions week 1 and week 13. The Cowboys are going to come in to play the Lions. And this is where I think it's caught the Lions off guard. We destroyed the Cowboys last year. We demoralized the Packers. 4 out of the last 6 games, or 5 out of the last 7 games, or 6 out of the last 9, whatever it is. We have a target on our back, and that's what they're coming for. Coming for the Lions. They don't care about anything else. So where maybe Dan or anybody else that said, I don't know if, this is any more of a game or less than a game because of what we did to them last year. We embarrassed the shit out of the Cowboys in Arlington. Embarrassed. They're going to try to embarrass us. If Dan Campbell doesn't get it right this week, then I would say there's small chances that we're going to be able to do anything in the postseason. We could still leak in as a number 7. Right now, we still have to win the North. We need to three-peat because that's the only chance that we're going to have at sniffing a Super Bowl is with the 4 seed. But the season's not over. The Rams dropped one. The Bears are frauds. The Lions can still do this, but they have to go 12-5. Have to. That is the mindset. I don't care what any other team does. I don't care if they win or they lose. We need them to lose a couple, absolutely. But the Lions have to finish 12-5. But businesses, or the business of the week, are the Cowboys. And we have to take care of them. When you're at Ford Field, if you're leaving early, don't even come. Don't even come.
Please.
Because we need people in the stands that are ready to cheer and root this team on the entire time. Not these halfsies, not these newbie fans. If you're coming to the game and you're paying that kind of money, watch it till the clock's at 0. This game was close to ending in a win or a tie. 10% of the fans left at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Same with the Giants game.
So come ready to rock and roll, inside Detroit, and let's get these Lions a win on Thursday.
I'll say this right now. I don't care if it's 43-0. I'm sitting my butt in that seat until the clock says 0.
Look, if you don't think that the Lions team doesn't feel it, they know that the fans are upset, but they need to not worry about us. We can't give them a reason to worry about us. We need to give them a reason to feel like we're going to support them no matter what. We can't be these entitled little brats. We have never had anything. We've had a glimmer of a few things, but as fast as it comes, it can be taken away. Is Dan close to losing his job? Hell no. Is Brad? Nope. Not even close. We have the team to do it. They just have to stay detailed, and that's what I'm expecting on Thursday night. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We should be on time. I got to get this camera figured out, but we should be on time tomorrow. You guys have a good rest of your Monday, and hopefully we can get into a better conversation tomorrow. I put a little note at the top, questions and topics, please. After 9 a.m. Tomorrow, please fill us up with your ideas, questions, topics, whatever you'd like. And I see my son. I don't know how long he's been in the chat, but I appreciate you jumping in, Christian. Good morning to you, buddy. Love you. Have a good day. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Go Detroit Lions. And as always, man, just look, relax a little bit. I know it's tough, but just relax a little bit.
Pressured by Hutchinson. He goes down again.